Tim Hauraney live from Miami for the Grand Prix this weekend. And what's great is that even the background of Tim's bedroom, which we get a beautiful view of, Tim's sitting on the edge of his bed right now, there's a big ocean behind you, Tim. How
There is, Adam. I even got it all lit up and everything. This is very, very Miami. Like, look at that. Like, I wake up and I'm on the beach in the morning. I get up. I turn on my little light at the back, and I'm on the beach. There you go.
Do your swims, too, in the morning before you get out and shoot?
Funny enough, Adam, across the street from where I'm staying, they actually have Olympic-sized swimming pools. So probably going to go swim there on Friday morning.
Go get a Tim's swim.
6 a.m., you know?
That's the thing. People don't know that about you, I don't think, but you're a big, big swimmer.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's sort of one of your exercise things that you do. Is that something from your racing days, or is that just something you picked up later?
Yeah, like I always swam, like as a kid and whatever. I grew up on the lake, and so I was always in water and whatever. I loved it, but yeah, it was part of training for when I was racing. I was already a good swimmer anyways, so basically used triathlon, so swimming, biking, running, and 1-2 days a week of weight training to stay fit for racing. And now, Adam, like I've told you, I think I'm getting back into that routine. So yeah, so we're gonna go and aim for another triathlon in July and see how I do.
He's gonna do F1. He's gonna do Nailing the Apex, and he's gonna do a triathlon. You are very impressive in that way, and I don't think you get enough credit. Tim is not a guy that takes a compliment well. He laughs it off, doesn't think it's a big deal. But you do a lot, Tim. You really do. And what I mean by that is you've done so much with your life. You've lived in Europe. You were a race car driver. You work at Canada's premier sports network. Like it's actually like really impressive. So as a friend, I just want to take a moment to go, Tim Hauraney, I'm a real big fan. Now,
thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
One of the things that obviously goes into any Miami weekend, any Miami Grand Prix, obviously Gunther Steiner, our good buddy, who is one of I want to call him an influencer, right? He is one of the guys that's the ambassador for this Grand Prix. And obviously, when he was on in our first episode of this season, he was talking about Miami GP. I can't believe we're already here.
Yeah.
The other thing is we get liveries. And I saw a really hilarious F1 meme where it's the guy who's like, and there's like a tornado in the background. Have you seen that? Where he's like, and there's a tornado, and everybody's like, "Get ready because in come the F1 livery," and it's like blue, white, and a hot pink, and they're all blue, white, and hot pink. Yeah. Tim, we saw the Ferrari one today. Are you a fan? I like their race suits. Not so sure about the car.
It's okay. It's okay. It's
a little too Hewlett Packard for me.
I don't mind the car too much. The car's okay. The suits, however, I got a bit of an issue with.
So you don't like the suits? Okay, no, tell me about why not?
Dude, I'm not a fan of that. I just don't think they just don't look Ferrari. Like,
they look Williams.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean. Like, they don't even look like the Scuderia, where at least the car has some Scuderia like colors splashed into it. You know what I mean?
Well, and one of the most famous shows in Miami history, like based in Miami, is Miami Vice.
Yep.
Right? It's a Ferrari. The guy drives a Ferrari.
Yes, he does.
Go off of that. Ferrari.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I do love Ferrari at Monza, though, with the yellow. I have to say, Ferrari yellow, like love. Mwah, beautiful.
What year was that? Yeah, when they did that.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, that was a great livery. It was kind of, because part of the car, though, Adam, didn't they, I can't remember if it was the engine cowling that wasn't fully painted over. It was like a different sort of color, if I remember correctly. But most of that car was like yellow and the black, and I was like, it was a sick livery. I really like that one from Ferrari.
It was very, very cool.
Yeah, it was
I believe Stake F1 released theirs too, and
they did one.
Not a whole lot different from the normal car.
No.
And okay. Everyone's like, "Whoa, they've released it. It's crazy." And I'm like, it's about the same.
Yeah.
One team that is actually going, like, the vibes are crazy, and that is the Racing Bulls pink livery.
Yeah.
What did you think of that one?
It's cool. I don't mind it. Because I think like Mercedes did something similar to what Racing Bulls did as well. It doesn't look, they obviously don't look the exact same, obviously, but like I got an email, was it 2 days ago that they were going to be putting out a new livery, and I think it was yesterday I got all of the pictures from Mercedes with their new gear for Miami, and I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, Adam, like I would much rather if we're going to do liveries, like these big livery unveils and stuff like that, I'd much rather if they're like retro, you know what I mean? Like if we, like, do you remember when McLaren and also I guess sort of Williams did the mobile, was it the mobile one or no, the Golf livery on the car?
Yes. Yep.
And I think McLaren started with it in Monaco. And I thought that was awesome.
It's my favorite livery of all time that's specialized. And I tried to buy as much McLaren Golf gear as I possibly could, but it all sold out.
Yeah. Oh, it was crazy. So good though, man. Like that was badass. I really loved that Golf livery. But again, like that's a retro livery, right? And so I wish like we could get more of that. Like I would really like to see that. Like you remember, like Jordan, for instance, like when they were yellow and black and they had the Benson and Hedges. I mean, obviously you can't have cigarette advertising on the car anymore, but I mean, you could still, like if Aston Martin ever wanted to do like a throwback sort of livery, since that is the old Jordan team, just do a throwback to like, that would be cool, man. Like I think that would be so sick to see that. I'm
dying for somebody to do a John Player special Lotus.
Yeah.
And obviously, again, I think that's a cigarette too. But you could just use the black and the gold and make it happen.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. You just put something else down the side of it.
yeah, exactly. You'll find somebody.
Yeah, exactly. You will.
And it's so funny too because those cars look so sleek and cool. But it's back in the day when you had like one big sponsor, right?
Yeah.
It was just like, now it's like, well, you look at McLaren, it's like, we've got 40 just on the dashboard.
Yeah.
I guess with the liveries, we haven't seen all of them as of this recording yet, but the Racing Bulls one definitely in the hot pink looks kind of cool. And I respect a team like Racing Bulls for doing that because they're a team that's really trying to reestablish a brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Red Bull has recognized, hey, we had something with Toro Rosso and we kind of threw it away on a whim for AlphaTauri and it didn't work. And then they did the Visa Cash App thing. They have to stick with this and make it a brand now.
Yeah,
right?
I think so too. Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, they've gone from AlphaTauri, then we had the V-Carb, now we have Racing Bulls, and it's like, okay, guys, like what are we going to be here? Like that's because long term, you can't just obviously keep rebranding the name of your team.
Yep.
And I think, Adam, like moving forward, they're going to have to stick with Racing Bulls unless someone else comes in and buys the team out and renames them something else, which I don't see happening in the future anytime soon.
Well, why sell them, honestly?
Exactly, Adam. Why even bother selling them at this point? But yeah, no, I agree. I think they do have to keep this thing consistent from here on out because you're just going to confuse fans at the end of the day, right? And even new fans that are still coming into the sport, like you're going to confuse them as well because I still get people telling me like, how did the AlphaTauri do? And I'm like, yeah, they're not branded as such anymore.
Yep.
And it's always like, wait, what are they now? And I'm like, okay, they're now called Racing Bulls, like RB. And and they're like, how did that happen? And then you got to go through the whole thing. And
it's a smart move. And I think they had two options after last year in terms of branding. They could go back to Toro Rosso, which sounds so cool. It's such a cool name.
Oh yeah.
I don't know whoever was and Red Bull doesn't miss in marketing, but they missed on this one. They really did. They screwed that up. It should have stayed Toro Rosso. So they could do that, or they could double down on the Racing Bulls, and they have. And you know what? Good for them going into it. Yeah. I hope most of the other teams kind of stick to their guns in terms of what they are. Sometimes doing too many special liveries throughout the season makes them less special. I understand it for 2 or 3 races, but when you've got every car in Miami doing something, right? Every car in Texas doing something, at a certain point, it's like, man, the New York Yankees logo is the New York Yankees logo because it's never changed.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
There's something to that too. Anyway, we're a little off track, but with Miami, I think in Miami style, F1 goes a bit overboard. I hope that there's some traditionalism on the track too.
Well, Adam, I mean, like a big part of obviously, like it's a going overboard for Miami. I mean, obviously, this being the first race in America to start sort of the season in terms of American races. Now we have 3, this one being the first one of the 3. I mean, I understand why teams kind of go big for it, and it makes sense. This is a market that they really want to attack. I mean, Formula One has always been of the mindset since Liberty Media came in that, hey, we got to get bigger in America. We got to get bigger in the United States, and we've got to kind of, punch through that wall. And after, I would say 2024, I mean, Formula One's fan base in the US is above 50 million now. I mean, that's a pretty solid number considering, like, I remember when they used to race at, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway back in 2001. I remember being at that race, and, the stadium was kind of packed. Like, it was busy, but it wasn't like packed. And right now you go, it's really difficult to get a ticket to either one of these, 3 races that they have here is really hard.
Yeah. 500,000 people go to Austin.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I remember, I think it was last year. I think there was close to like 225,000 people there for race day, if I remember correctly. Like, just a wild number. Like, it's really blows me away at how far the sport's come in America. Even in terms of viewership on ESPN, I mean, their viewership keeps going up every year. I mean, now granted, the number's not like NASCAR numbers, and sometimes IndyCar comes in and beats them in terms of the viewership.
They've had some great numbers this year.
Especially
the St. Pete's Grand Prix, really good.
Yeah, exactly. And like, the other thing is with Formula One, like, they've had some good numbers on ESPN when the race is at like 2 a.m. 3 a.m, like Japan, China, like those were pretty decent numbers if I remember correctly. Now, who knows how long, F1's going to be on ESPN? I mean, we don't know. I have no inside intel if they're going to be on ESPN or they're going to go somewhere else. I have no clue, because that broadcast rights agreement is coming to an end this season. So they could renew, they might not. I'm not too sure, but to see the growth of the sport within the country is a very positive sign, which is good if you're, someone like myself, right? Like, I've been covering F1 from Canada, and, kind of the only person, being able
who's
to
going international and connected in the paddock.
Exactly.
And the scale hasn't been there.
Exactly. And for it to grow and have us get some of that bleed into our show that we do here, I mean, that's kind of what's been happening, which has been great. And I think also, Adam, on top of all that, I think like the bigger it can grow in North America. I mean, Canada already has a very large carved out fan base for F1, and that is growing as well. And Canada is an important market for F1 at the same time.
It's generational, right?
Yeah, exactly. But for America, it's still kind of like that new sort of thing, right? Where in Canada, like we've known about F1. We've been involved in F1. We have F1 champion. We've had incredible Canadian F1 drivers. And so now I think it's kind of like the US's turn to sort of start to come up
on that level. Yeah. I mean, it helps when, Gilles Villeneuve's a Ferrari driver. Imagine a Canadian being a Ferrari driver.
Oh my God. That'd be amazing.
It's crazy. But it happened at all. The fact that it happened at all is crazy. It being the Miami Grand Prix, a clean car is sort of important, right?
Need it.
Absolutely. Now, Tim, are you one of those super detailed guys with your car?
Adam, wax on, wax off, buddy. Let me tell you, okay? I like to make sure that my cars are sparkling, all right? And inside the car as well. I was using some of the detailer that they gave us for the interior. That stuff makes it shine, buddy.
Now, their names are Silverwax, obviously, and they are proudly Canadian since 1999 when they founded the company. They weren't something else before that. I'm just throwing that out there. And they've got the absolute care promise. It drives them to make caring for your car as easygoing as possible, right? Because sometimes products can be a little bit finicky, but with Silverwax, you're getting something that is not only easy to use, but extremely effective. And Tim, obviously, one of the featured products is the Nano Diamond Ceramic Quick Wax, which just makes wax so much easier.
Shine like a diamond, buddy.
Absolutely. And for your RVs and your boats that have been sitting all winter, insect remover. Real key. A lot of people don't think about that. And then you bring them out and you're like, oh yeah, it's the spring. Silverwax takes absolute care of your car. You can find Silverwax products at your local Canadian Tire or at silverwax.ca. Use the promo code, and this is an important one, SDPN10. Again, it's SDPN10 at checkout to save 10% on your next order with Silverwax. Now, Tim, we're going to do a quick jump to our track. Miami is a far more technical track and a little bit frustrating, a lot more frustrating, I think, than people realize. And you're going to see that in this recording. Tim's really sweating his way through this one. Let's have a look at the race. All right, Miami Grand Prix. Let's go. Now, listen, as of the recording of the episode, Tim will be in Miami.
Will.
And he'll be partying and having a great time because they bring Tim down to be an influencer at all the parties.
No, they don't.
They have him there and they're like, whoa, where's Tim going to be? I need to be at the Tim party in Miami, right? Because obviously.
That doesn't happen.
Doesn't it happen, Tim?
No.
I thought you said you were going to be busy in Miami.
Yeah, we'll be busy in Miami, but it won't be partying.
Okay, all right, fine then.
Going to be working.
Now, who are we today? Are we Kimi Antonelli or are we George Russell?
We are going to be George Russell today.
Okay, all right.
With the Mercedes. We're going to try and do a flying lap around this difficult technical track.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me about this track because it's a tougher one than people I think expect, right?
Yeah. So I've done a track walk on here before, but this is like the first flying driving laps I've ever done on anything like sim or any of that kind of stuff. We did 5 laps, 6 laps of practice. Yeah. Before we started recording. They didn't go very well. So, enjoy.
Let's get out there. Woo, flying lap. You know what's funny, too, is like the sun actually plays a big part on one of the quarters.
Yeah, I can't see it.
You'll see it come up. It's like, actually just before this rolling start.
It is hard to see like reference markers if you've got any for this game. There we go.
Yeah,
and we're off to a good start.
A little bit oversteer there. And
just a little too enthusiastic with the throttle, Adam. Just a little too
and we're off. We're off. Now, Tim, I mean, obviously, this is, and I'm going to try not to ask you a question in the middle of the corner because I'm learning as a host of this that you kind of need the corner. Kind of need to focus on the corner. Now, Miami is one of the newer tracks, as we said, on the schedule. It is one of the more fun Grand Prix. One of the cool things about Miami, too, is that you can visit all the teams inside the stadium where the Dolphins play.
Yes.
Which is pretty sweet, right?
It's cool.
And what's it like walking out in the middle of that stadium and, doing your interviews and stuff like that?
Adam, it depends on the type of day or time of day, I should say, because if you go out there in the morning at 10 a.m., you're usually pretty good, but if you go out there at like 1 p.m., you're just prepared to get absolutely roasted.
Oh, it's just that hot?
It's so hot, man.
Yeah, Now, is that
blistering.
In the way that it can be in places like Singapore? Some of these races are so hot. Is that a factor in Miami too for the drivers, like dehydration?
Yeah, for sure. Once the race starts at, I want to say.
There's the darkness, by the way. Look at that.
I want to say 4 p.m. race start Eastern time. It's really hot, man. Like these guys get out of the car and they come to do interviews with you, and they're just drenched with sweat. They're so freaking they're just dying, man. Like, yeah, it's a very hot race. Very hot.
And obviously the around the track. Hey, listen, there's no damage on. Nobody saw that. It's all good. It still counts, Tim. Oh, look at that! The fastest lap for Tim. All right. A little bit of an assist from the wall, but you know what? Let's take it. Now, you have beaten your rival, Tim. Now, time for a new rival. I want to say that what's interesting about Miami too is it just seems like, at least from maybe for the driver's perspective, it's not this way, but it is just more of a fun, jovial race rather than the very serious races that you get. Silverstone is a serious race.
It is.
Spa is a serious race. They're fun to watch, but they're serious.
Yes.
This one seems like it's just a good old time.
It's a ton of fun. They've got stuff happening all around the track. Celebrities all over the place. Did I just get a black and white flag? Celebrities all over the place. It is a fun race for sure. I mean, obviously the drivers are taking it seriously, right?
Of course.
It's counting towards championship points, and I just went off again. Oh, this is just. But it's a fun race, Adam. I mean, I would recommend people come to check it out at least once. Bring sunscreen and a big hat.
Yeah, and I'm sure honestly, I bet the whole experience can be affected by whatever grandstand you happen to be in too.
We
right?
usually park along this straightaway here.
Okay.
And we have to walk all the way down here with all of our camera equipment.
Oh, really?
And we cross this bridge here that we just went under.
Oh my God.
Sorry, we crossed. Yes, that's oh my gosh. I need to stop talking.
Well, okay. Here's my question then. Since the this and next lap invalidated.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, we can't. Why are we invalidating the next lap?
Yeah,
what is this?
Give me a break.
Okay.
If you're gonna ask questions, now's the time to do it.
All right. The question I will have for you're right.
This lap is this junk.
It's invalidated this lap.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the hardest race to walk into? Like, I know Montreal's a bit of a pain in the butt because you got to use the metro unless you can get a boat.
Yeah.
And the metro you got to wait for, right?
Yeah.
It can take an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes standing in line just to get out. Or at least that's what it took me.
I would say this is a challenging race to get in and get out of. If not for spectators, I don't think. For for us, I would say it's probably the most physical race that we do.
Yep.
Just because of where sort of everything is located, because the site is very big.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's still a fun event. Like, I really do enjoy going to it. I mean, I've been going to it since its inauguration.
Yeah.
Which is where I got to interview Vin Diesel, by the way.
Oh, what was that like?
TikTok.
What is Vin like? Because sometimes he gives some crazy interviews where I'm like, what planet are you from? And other times he's cool. I mean, he's always cool. He's Vin Diesel.
So we're on the grid.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready for the race. And I'm like running around with the microphone and the camera operator. And we're doing interviews with people. And all of a sudden we see Vin Diesel. And we're like, oh my God, there's Vin Diesel. And he's like trying to like jack up the crowd. Like in around here, this area is where we were. And I'm like, I'm going to go in. I'm going to get him.
So you're going to Martin Brundle this?
Yeah. And so I walk up to him and I'm like, Vin, can I get a couple words? He's like, oh, TSN, Canada? He's like, absolutely, right on. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, you know who we are? He's like, absolutely. I'm like, all right, sweet. I'm like, he's like, just tell me when we're recording. And this hand comes like over my shoulder, and this massive towel just goes right across his forehead to like
wipe him down.
Yeah, I get him ready, and I go, okay, we're rolling. I'm like, Van, who's gonna win today? And he like kind of has this like brain fart almost. And I'm like, okay, let's do that one again. He's like, yeah, one more time. He's like, sorry about that. like, all good, man. I mean, there's a lot going on around us. There's car noises, there's engines being fired up. And so anyways, so we go again, and he's like, he friggin' nails this line. He's like, God. He's like, who's gonna win today? So he makes a phone call to God.
What? Are you serious?
It was awesome. And he's like, yeah. And he looks at me and he's like, I can't tell you. And then he tries to run away while he's like giggling.
Oh my God.
he's like running away.
Lunatic. In the best way.
And I'm like, what? And like my voice peaks and that all catches on camera. Anyways, he's trying to run away and he's got our cord wrapped around his waist.
Oh.
And he's a big guy, right?
Yeah.
So when he starts going, he's taking us all with him. Like, he's literally, he's like... he's like the train, man, and we're just like the cars like attached to him. Like
oh, that's awesome.
I thought he was gonna take us all down, and then he stops midway, and I do the old like get the old camera cord wrapped around him, and I have to like untie him and stuff. It was hilarious.
God, that's amazing.
It was so funny.
But he seems like a fun guy.
Oh yeah, he was cool.
That's cool. That's cool. Gunther Steiner was on our show earlier this year. You should check out that interview. And he is a what do they call it? A track. He's not a marshal. He's a
track ambassador.
Yeah, he's like a track ambassador for Miami. So you're gonna see Gunther there.
Yes,
and
we'll see Gunther there.
He's always a good time.
I think we have some. I think he's doing some portion of. I can't remember. We're doing something with him.
Okay.
I know I've arranged something to do Quick guns are
And
just-
what else are you doing this weekend? Are you working there with TSN, or what are you doing?
Yeah, TSN all weekend. It's gonna be great. I think we may get some interesting track access.
Oh.
I don't want to ruin anything since nothing is confirmed. Just
Okay,
yet,
all right.
but that'll be on SportsCenter if it happens.
We will be watching SportsCenter, looking out for you, Tim Rainey. We'll let you finish this lap, and
Okay,
then we'll
we're gonna
wrap
put-
this
we're
bad
gonna-
boy up.
So we're gonna put in a good lap, right? Like we did one good lap.
You did a personal. You want to do one more lap?
Well, I mean, I can't really go out on the way we've gone out.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
this
especially
is-
with a 4-second delta on yourself. Like we gotta make this happen. Okay,
I'm too busy telling Vin Diesel.
you're true. It's true. It's true. Okay, so do you want me to just be silent
No,
throughout?
no, you can still talk.
Okay, I'll narrate, and then I won't ask any questions. All
well,
right.
you can ask questions. I'll do my best to answer them.
Tim is off to the races here. This is the lap where I would say the most pressure of the day is on him.
What?
I mean, wouldn't you say that? Wouldn't you say that this lap matters more than all the laps that came before, including the personal best?
It's a pretty important lap.
It is. But Tim, former race car driver, understands pressure, feels pressure, lives with pressure, owns pressure.
I own pressure.
I have to say,
I own it.
it's kind of crazy. Like, I feel like the best job in Formula One isn't being a driver. Like, obviously being paid a lot's cool. But I think the best job in Formula One has got to be, like, I don't know, perhaps like a member of the team that doesn't directly have to work on the car, potentially overnight if you bid it. Or, a driver. It's a bit of a wide turn, but he's still okay. Because I feel like you don't get to enjoy the locales if you're one of the engineers, you're one of the pit crew, you're a team principal. Like, do you really get to enjoy any of these great spots?
I mean,
You
teams
know?
are working so hard, man. Like
Exactly.
every person on the team is working flat out. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
What about the PR folks?
They
have
are
a good
too.
time?
Yeah, everybody's like working hard, man. I mean, they still enjoy it. It's still a good time, right? But I think like on Sundays, if they're not flying out, like on a Sunday night,
Yep.
they stick around and they'll like go out for a couple beers or have some food and stuff like that.
Right,
Enjoy
just-
the nightlife a bit more.
Enjoy a minute. Now, there is 2 weeks. Hey, a fastest lap for Tim. Great way to finish. And listen, Miami Grand Prix this weekend. Watch out for Tim, not only here on SDPN, but on TSN. He'll be down there, like actually in the sun, having the best time ever.
Tim, I just love that you finished strong. It was a solid lap to finish, my friend.
I had to focus there at the end, Adam.
Yeah, I know, it was great. Now, for
I
anybody
remember,
that...
I remember you were saying to me like, okay, so we're done here, and I'm like, no. I got to put in a represented time here. I'm like, this has been trash so far. At least let me try and redeem myself somehow.
Tim's a very competitive guy. Very competitive. By the way, if you don't know, if you're listening on the audio portion of this, just know on the video portion, as always, every Grand Prix weekend, Tim takes us through the racetracks and sees, how the whole thing is going to play out. And it kind of gives you a sense of what the drivers get to see. And that whole shaded portion of the track is wild. Like, it's just the ability to see anything through there is crazy.
Just how they get like a reference marker. I mean, like obviously, Adam, like we only like I've ran the track.
Mm-hmm.
I've done some walks around it, but I've never driven it. I've never jumped in a race car at all. And like, so that was what people watched. I think I'd done 6 laps before we'd hit record
Yep.
on the track. So that's still me. I'm still learning the track as you and I are chatting, and I'm still trying to sort of figure it out and find reference markers for when I can start braking and all that kind of stuff. And even that was a challenge. Like I found the shaded areas were so difficult. I would say off the back straightaway into the hairpin, that was really hard to find a braking reference that I could actually like lock onto every single time. And then I would also say probably in the bowl section where you go through the S's and then you kind of go in this huge left-hander, that was challenging to find a reference marker as well. And then I would say the last one was probably turn 11, maybe turn 12, I think it is. Maybe not turn 12, whatever. Essentially, it's just before you go into this really slow part.
Right.
After the big loop, as I like to call it. I should memorize the corners. This is terrible. People listening,
That's okay.
I'm really sorry.
Well, hey, listen, we just watched 10 minutes of it go down if you're watching online. So now, Tim, a couple of other news and notes to kind of hit us up, because obviously we're doing this before the drivers have had a chance to talk. So normally we have some more quotes and that sort of thing, but scheduling wouldn't allow this time. Now, first thing is, it's pretty clear now that Sergio Perez and Cadillac could happen, and I don't know when this would be announced, but it's pretty clear that it's that both sides want to make it happen. What's your sense of how close that actually is?
Yeah, I've been told he'll be here this weekend. Believe his manager's coming as well. Cadillac's going to have an announcement on Saturday. Now, whether that is driver or team livery, I mean, remains to be seen. There's a lot of stuff floating around online. Some of it I wouldn't believe if I were you, if those listening and watching. But Saturday I'll have some news to sort of share around Cadillac. I think I get to chat with them on Saturday as well. So yeah, that'll be good. But I mean, Adam, it's, you and I have discussed this before, and I think it only makes sense to keep reiterating the fact that, like, it makes sense that they would talk to Sergio.
Yeah.
It would also make sense if they were able to talk to Valtteri as well.
Yes.
But I think talking to Sergio first, obviously he has the backing, he has the sponsorship that he can bring to the team. It may also kind of signal where the team is in terms of their funding if Sergio does come into the squad, right? Like, it's just that just makes sense.
I mean, Sergio, one of the reasons that apparently Red Bull hung on to him after the summer break last year was the Mexican Grand Prix was coming up. He's a huge draw in Mexico. Obviously comes with a lot of sponsorship dollars, but I would say, obviously, he's that Red Bull car, like, people, I think we need to reestablish our respect for Sergio and what he's able to do. But he will do a lot for the Cadillac brand in Mexico. And I know, obviously, in an age of tariffs and uncertainty in the United States in terms of how they're treating their trading partners, the reality is that Cadillac, makes a lot of their parts all over, and then they have assembly plants. They've got, most of them are in the States. I looked it up. And then they've got an assembly plant in China as well, but their parts are sourced elsewhere. And Mexico is a growing economy in a way that I don't think people really understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's growing very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's trading very, very well. It's rock solid in a way that, again, we didn't grow up with this Mexico. This is a brand new Mexico that's really gotten a hold of its finances and is doing extremely well. And that, because of that, a lot more Mexican citizens have a lot more money to spend. And Cadillac has an emerging market there. Obviously, their key markets are Canada, the United States, and China. But if Cadillac can grab that market and a lot of those countries right down into South America, and Sergio can help with that, it seems like a really great emerging market for them. And Sergio makes a ton of sense for that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
He does. Yeah, definitely. I would also say, for Cadillac, even getting into European market would be even more, so to speak, would be also really great. Something that they would be looking at doing for sure. What kind of a driver is going to help you there, right? And then that's when we start talking about, okay, do they need a rookie? Okay, and who is going to be that rookie? And I don't necessarily think they'll go for that. I don't believe that having two rookies to start off a team makes a lot of sense. Like, it makes more sense if you were to go with experience and start from there and get yourself a really great American talent and bring them through properly.
And you have all of IndyCar to mind for that, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. And that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know if, like, I know Kyle Kirkwood's not like 100% interested. Colton Herta, I think he could be interested, but I think for Colton, when you look at his career, it's like he's having some success in IndyCar right now. He's making pretty good money. He's got himself a stable seat stable job. Now, if you just pick up and go to Formula One, you could lose like
All of that.
all of it. Like there is just not much you could gain from doing that. And will his driving style be able to come over and learn and make adjustments? Like they run on different tires in IndyCar.
Power steering versus no power steering.
Yep, that too. But it's also like about how aggressive you are with the car as well. Like I think with this current generation of F1 car, you really have to be really smooth with it. You can't just manhandle this thing and wring its neck, or else you're going to overheat the tire. You're going to kill the tire. You're going to disturb the balance of the car too much. So you really have to like coax the car to where you need it to be, instead of just going out and wringing the thing's neck, like, which is something that I'm like used to, right? Like that.
Of course.
I think, for myself, I'm a naturally smooth driver, so that transition wouldn't be super impossible. But for someone who like driving an IndyCar, you really have to like wrestle this thing. Is that transition going to be easy? Yes or no? How much testing time could he get? They don't even have a car, right? Like, so it's not like the Kimi Antonelli roadmap, right, Adam? Where it's, the winter time you're going to be testing a lot in older machinery, but you're still testing F1 cars. You're still working with the team. You're still working with your engineer. You're still learning the steering wheel, and you're still learning the tire, which is really important, where Cadillac wouldn't necessarily have that. So that's a really big disadvantage you would put that driver in. Yeah. And I don't know if you would want to do that. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, their driver future is going to be very interesting to watch, I think, here over the next few months.
Tim, might that include potentially George Russell? George Russell has, from what we had heard, what I'd read, he had an extension on the table, but then all of a sudden they haven't signed it. And it's not that George hasn't signed it, it's Mercedes hasn't signed it.
Yep.
And there is rumors about Max, of course. What's going on?
I think, Adam, one of the things that is most likely happening here is the fact that, there are rumblings of Max potentially moving on from Red Bull. Now, whether or not the clause that Max has in his contract, if he's not top 2 in the Drivers' Championship by the time we get to summer break, is kind of like an opportunity for him to start looking at other options, which is a possibility. And there could be conversations happening behind the scenes right now. We just don't know. And I think that's what's sort of slowing down the George Russell contract extension, because I think if you're Mercedes, that's something you have to investigate. Like, you've got to, if Max Verstappen is on the table and you think you have a shot at bringing him over, you have to do your due diligence and look into that. And sometimes that's just the way this sport is. Like,
does George understand that? How does he feel about it?
I think he has to, because you have to, as a driver, do your best to separate business from the racing, right? Like, and you have to make sure that you understand that business is business, and try not to take things too personal. And I know it's really hard, and it's hard
of course.
And it's hard because emotions run really high with the sport. Drivers put a ton of effort into everything that they're doing. All the team members do as well. And so you have to make yourself understand that, like, you have to focus on what's on the track. That's the only thing that you can control. That's one of the things that I learned really young, was the fact that the things that I can control is what I do on the track. And one of the sayings that I was always telling myself is, like, you're only as good as your last race. And that's essentially how you kind of have to live as a driver. You are only as good as your last race. And for George, he's had a great start to the season. He's been fantastic. This is his best start to an F1 season. And I think
he's doing everything that he can, right?
Exactly. And that's the most important thing that he can do right now, Adam, is just focus on that. And the other stuff should take care of itself. But if you're Max Verstappen, right, I think you also have to take into consideration of like, okay, what's going on at Red Bull? Like, how are they going to be next year? Are they going to be competitive? Are they not? Those are questions he's going to have to ask himself. Like, does he feel that they are going to be a good team and they're going to have a good car that's going to be competitive in 2026 with this new regulation change, new engine regulation change as well? Red Bull's building their own powertrain. He has to take a good look at that and say, is this right for my career? Or do I need to jump out of here as soon as possible and get to somewhere else? And that's where I think this whole Mercedes thing is starting to come from.
Do you have an idea of timelines on that? When does Mercedes think they want to make a choice on this?
I don't have a timeline on it, but my instincts would say we'll probably know more when we start to get close to summer break, because that's usually when we start to get that type of news. I mean, Lewis was a different story last year. That was just that was just a
different thing.
That was just something, it just happened out of nowhere, right? And this, I could see us learning more in the next few months. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to happen relatively soon, but I mean, who knows? We'll see what I can learn this weekend and get out of people. So
curious to see what happens. Okay, Tim, before we go, because we got a couple of minutes, what are you doing this weekend? Tell us your schedule.
Oh, buddy, like we got a lot of stuff going on. Like we have like a ton of interviews on Thursday. I'm really looking forward to. So we're gonna sit down with Kimi Antonelli.
Cool.
Get to talk to Oscar Piastri one-on-one. Zach Brown, Andrea Stella as well, and gonna get to talk to Lance, which is gonna be great to catch up, and the Haas guys. So
cool.
Really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of really great content that we're going to have coming out. Some of those interviews people aren't going to see until later in the season. Well, not later in the season, but I should say like in the next few weeks. But yeah, going to be doing some one-on-one interviews. Going to have some special guests on SportsCenter with me following qualifying, following the race. So yeah, it's going to be fun, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm excited for you. So it'll all be on TSN, right?
Everything will be on TSN. It'll be on TSN's website. Should be on their YouTube channel as well. And it'll be on SportsCenter every night, starting Thursday. Thursday.
And obviously, Tim will have his quick catch up between qualifying and the race on Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
And of course, Tim and I will catch up early next week, Sunday night or Monday morning, for our post-race breakdown. So, Tim, wishing you the very, very best of luck. Come back tanned and enjoy yourself, man. We're very
burnt.
jealous.
Thanks, buddy.
Burnt, exactly.
Crispy. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.